the Baen Free Radio Hour.
Hello and welcome to the Baen Free Radio Hour. Today we bring you Jeremy Comeaux interviewing part of the crew of amazing authors penning stories for Jason Cordova's latest anthology, Dancing with Destruction. Rick Partlow, Blaine Pardoe, Marisa Wolf, and Melissa Olthoff join us to give insights into their work. After that, we jump into part 20 of the serialization of Mark Van Name's John and Lobo novel, One Jump Ahead.
Welcome everyone to another episode. I am your host, Jeremy Comeaux, and it is Old Home Week here at Baen. We've got a whole crew of people here instead of just me and one other author. You get a treat. You get a whole slew of authors, and they're all wonderful in their own right, and we're going to get to know them as we go on today. First off, I'm going to have them introduce themselves and tell you where they can find them online or in person. Marisa, why don't you go first?
I was promised a dumb joke. I thought I would have more time.
Hello.
My name is...
It was so dumb you missed it.
Dang it. My name is Marisa Wolf. I am married to our host, so mwaha. I feel like I should say that up front just in case I accidentally call him Babe. I don't usually call Baen Free Radio Hour host.
Is that a conflict of interest?
A little bit. Here we are. Did it on purpose. Anyway, hi, I'm Marisa Wolf. I'm here for nepotism, I guess. I write science fiction and fantasy that ends in hope, no matter how dire the circumstances on the way to that end.
Where can people find you?
Oh, yeah. www.marisawolf.net or .com. I go both ways.
Yes.
Find you at Jeremy's house.
This got intimate real quick.
I'm just saying, welcome to the podcast.
And this will probably be coming out after LibertyCon. So where can people find you out in the world?
Yes, you can find me this year. The only thing I have after LibertyCon is DragonCon, but rumor has it that I will have a new release at DragonCon. So stay tuned.
All right, Blaine.
I'm Blaine Pardoe. I write a lot of military sci-fi and political thrillers. I do the Land and Sea series, which is a mecha series in the near future. I also do Tenure and Blue Dawn, which are political thriller series. You can find me all over the internet. I have a blog called Notes from the Bunker. You can get a hold of me on Twitter and Facebook. The best place to get a hold of me, honestly, is on Amazon.com by buying one of my books.
Good point.
Nice.
He contacts everyone who buys one of his books personally.
Yeah.
With
the book.
You guys think Rick is joking?
I love it. I love it.
Amazing.
Do you have any public appearances coming up?
I'll be at LibertyCon, and I'll also be at BasedCon this year, and that's it for me for live appearances.
All right. Jason, we're going to save you for last since you're the editor. Melissa.
Hey, I'm Melissa Olthoff. I write sci-fi and fantasy, and I sneak in romance wherever I can because I write what I love to read. I just had my first Baen novel come out last week, Rise from Ruin. Oh, thank you, Marisa. You do this every time, and I love you.
Always ready.
Always. It's amazing. Totally lost my train of thought because it's so pretty. I love that cover. Whew. Anyways, you can find me at melissaolthoff.net or .com because I just love Marisa so much. I'm like, I too have to go both ways. You can
different kind of internet joke, my love.
I'm stealing it. I'm stealing. No, not really.
No, I love it.
You can find me at LibertyCon with pretty much everybody here, and you can find me at DragonCon because it'll be my first year as an attending pro. So,
congratulations!
Thank you.
All right, Rick, you're up.
I'm Rick Partlow. I write military science fiction and space opera. I just had, I think, my 82nd book published today.
Congratulations.
Right.
You can find me on Amazon.com at Rick Partlow. I'm pretty much the only writer there by that name, and definitely the only science fiction writer there by that name. So if you search me on Amazon.com, that's what's going to come up. I'm also on Facebook, the Science Fiction Worlds of Rick Partlow. And yeah, that's about it. I don't want anybody looking for me on Twitter because I'm whole different personality there. So
That's fair. It's good to
Are you-
separate these things.
and I
Are
will
you a
be
bit of a ranter?
I will be at LibertyCon, but if this comes out afterwards, I will also be at the Writers Cantina in Salt Lake City in July.
Nice.
I will not be at DragonCon, unfortunately.
And last but not least, the editor of this book, Jason Cordova.
My name is Jason Cordova. I've written books with Larry Correa, Marisa Wolf, a bunch of other people. I think I just turned in my 62nd book. I'm not as prolific as Rick,
Jesus, y'all. I'm at 12 this year and I'm excited.
Right?
but let's see. You can find me at jasoncordova.com. I do not go both ways, so not set.
That's appreciated. Thank you.
Wasn't it?
I try to keep it away. For appearances, this year is actually a little crazy. I'm going to be at the Quills Writer. No, let's start from July. July, I'm going to be at a Imaginarium in July in Lexington, Kentucky. No, Louisville, Kentucky. I'm a finalist for like a couple awards there.
I think it's Louisville.
I don't care. I'm from California. You can pronounce everything. And then I'll be at the Quills Writing Conference as a guest lecturer and speaker in Salt Lake City in August. I'll be at Crash City Con in Roanoke, Virginia the next week. And then the week after that, I'll be at Dragon Con. The week after that, I'll be at WivaCon up in Whitfield, Virginia. And then 2 weeks after that, I'll be sneaking into PCon in Dallas, Fort Worth.
As one
And then
does.
Interesting
I think
combination
I've
of
got
words.
one
Nice.
more. Right, Dragonsteel in December in Salt Lake City.
Nice.
I think
Nice.
that's it.
Wow, you are busy. That's just till the end of the year.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about next year.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that's July and August this year are
If
insane.
they held Pecan up north, would it be called Pecan?
probably. Yeah.
Probably.
See, there you go, Jeremy. That's a good joke.
There you go. That's our stupid.
It was a joke.
Never mind, Rick.
All right. Well, thank you all for those introductions. And the reason why we're here is to discuss this anthology, which will be coming out the first week of July, Dancing with Destruction. And we'll pull that back up here in a second. Oh, we got a
Nice.
early copy.
I don't
Oh,
have
good.
mine.
Offer copies came. I'm so happy.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
jealous. Oh, I'm so jealous. I'll just hold Melissa's again.
So, before we get into discussing the book, is there anything that you would like to promote that's in your pipeline that's maybe people don't know about, but that you can talk about?
Marisa.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. The September 2nd, the first Tuesday of September, my debut fantasy novel, A Plague of Magic, will be out. And Rumor, thank you. And Rumor has it that people at Dragon Con can maybe access some early copies. So, it's a rumor on the streets.
I'm just sitting here in smug first reader because I've already read it and it's amazing.
The tagline, which I can take zero credit for, this was all Tony Weisskopf, is a big score, a little dragon, and a whole lot of trouble. It's pretty great.
All right, Blaine, you got anything in the works?
Yeah, our graphic novel, which was the first time I got to do that, will be out in the next month or so for Land and Sea, our first one. Then I'm working on finishing up a Land and Sea novel in the next few weeks. Tomorrow I leave for Chicago. We're doing a game design session for the tabletop game and role-playing game for Land and Sea. So all that's going on. Tenure 3 is in the hopper with the editor. Tenure 2 comes out in audiobook on June 24th. Yeah, I've just always got books going.
I
Oh,
guess.
good.
All right, Melissa.
So, like I said, I just had Rise for Bruin come out. It's book 1 of my Griffin Core series, which is Dragon Riders of Pern meets the Griffins of Valdemar. I have been told by so many readers that if you like Fourth Wing, you're going to love this. And I just found out that the pre-order for the audiobook is live, and that's going to come out September 30th.
Ooh, congratulations.
I'm just going to add, if you like Fourth Wing, but you're like, oh, I would like a little more world building, or I would like the military academy stuff done right. Keep in mind, Melissa is an Air Force vet, y'all. So
I love you.
Who also likes the romance.
It's real subtle, okay?
Yeah.
She likes to sneak in romance whenever she can.
that's
Yeah.
right. Sometimes it's not sneaky.
Sometimes it's right in your face. Like, for instance, I also had my fourth book of my Salvage Bunny trilogy come out a week and a half ago. And yeah, at some point you gotta let that slow burn catch fire. I'm just saying.
All right. Well,
I have secrets. I can't talk
you have
about
secrets.
it. I have secrets.
She does.
I'm gonna spill one though for her. That
Are you really?
All right.
Sorry.
Well, you're gonna go last again. Just Rick, what you sound very prolific. I'm sure you got something in the works.
Well, the second book in my Archangel series came out today, and the third one will probably be coming out next month. It's gonna be at least 4. Not 100% certain after that, but at least 4. And I just started working a few days ago on a new series with J.N. Chaney. I don't know if he wants me to share the title yet, but I'm going to. It's called The Accidental Astronaut.
That's awesome.
It's better to beg forgiveness than ask permission sometimes.
That's right.
There we are.
Yeah. All right, Jason, spill the tea.
Okay, well, first off, let's see, what do I got coming? Oh, the second Monster Hunter Memoirs book's coming out next year from Larry and myself. I'm about halfway done. We're about halfway done with it right now. And then it's not official, as in like Melissa and I have already been paid. But Melissa and I, our first book in the Bronze Legion series, titled To Tread Obsidian Shores, is tentatively scheduled for next spring at Bain.
So excited. It's so good.
And I just found that out today.
It's very exciting.
All right.
Actually, by the time this reviews, we'll have turned in the final Tony edited manuscript.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Oh, I just remembered a project. I'm sorry, guys.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I write true crime books with my daughter, and we do cold cases. One of them is now in the process of being solved, so we've been asked by the editor to write a new appendix for the original book that we did on the case. Which
Is that the one in Virginia?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my God,
cool.
that's so
Amazing.
cool.
So I've been doing the interviewing and stuff, getting that prepped. So once I emerge from the con season, that's going to be my focus, is to get that done.
That's very cool.
It's really cool.
All right. So again, before we get into the book, we're gonna this is for the fans, so we're gonna do get to know you type stuff. So, who are you reading right now? If you have time to read, because you all sound very, very busy. Who are you reading that is not one of your best friends?
Fine.
Marisa, go.
I am currently reading T. Kingfisher's Paladin's Grace.
Ooh. What's that about?
It's super fun. So basically it starts, the very first chapter is you're following a paladin who is in the midst of, his godly berserker fury, and then his god dies. And the book is about the aftermath. It's good. So T. Kingfisher is fantastic. I do not know her as a human. I've read 1 or 2 of her books that are
I know her as an alien.
I mean, yeah, as far as I know, is she human? Can you be this good and be human? I don't know. But I've read some of her mild horror books. I can't read serious horror because of who I am as a person. But she's great, and this is delightful. I have laughed out loud 4 times thus far. So
Awesome. Blaine, you reading anything?
Yeah, I'm reading the Buzzer War series.
Sorry, I shrieked.
Sorry, by Kevin Eikenberry.
It's not the Shriek War, it's the Buzzer War.
I didn't realize it was shriek-worthy, but I jumped in on this. I've really been enjoying it because I write about alien invasion, and I like his style of doing alien invasion. It's something that's comfortable. It's got space battles, it's got fighter battles, it's got tank battles, it's got people.
I got to read the first book before it was released, by the way.
Yeah, first readers.
It's a good series. I'm not a huge fan of the romance side of it, but that's me. I like the carnage stuff, and there's lots of carnage.
There's lots of carnage.
Hmm.
He read one of the first chapters real early on a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I don't know. And at the end, we're all just staring at him like, "Damn it, Kevin!"
I had goosebumps.
Yeah.
And apparently my face was so expressive that I couldn't look at me while he was reading because I was just like,
Yep.
So good.
I got one of those short stories in my very first anthology.
Yeah, you did.
I got yours too, Marisa.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah.
You guys
That
read the
was-
same anthology.
This is pretty great with chicks and tank tops.
Oh yeah. Melissa, who are you reading?
Right now, I'm actually working my way through the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. And I actually read her ACOTAR series first. And I'm like, this is good. It's really good. But I'm like, I'm going to try Throne of Glass. And I read the first book like 2 or 3 years ago and it didn't catch me. And then I'm like, I keep seeing all these reels and all these just little spoiler things. I'm like, all right, I got to give this another try. And now I'm book 3 or 4. And I'm like taking notes. Like it is so good. So good. Especially when you realize that she wrote Throne of Glass before she wrote ACOTAR. And I'm like, it's a completely different style. And it's very, very good.
Now, is that romancy?
It actually is not. So ACOTAR is way more romancy.
Yeah.
This is more like everything has gone to shit. The world is in danger and it's epic stakes and world building and everything I love about a good fantasy. And yes, there's romance too, because I am who I am.
Oh, yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah, you do.
All right, Rick, what are you reading?
Well, I don't know how long it's going to take me to finish it because I have very little time to read, but I just started Kevin J. Anderson's The Dark Between the Stars.
Oh, nice. It's such a good title.
Is it good?
I just started it. I assume it's good because he's a good writer, but I haven't really got into. I've gotten like into the prologue.
Oh, okay.
You got it.
Legit.
All right, Jason, what you got going?
I am reading a history book that is
no.
blurred out. There we go. The Habsburg for research because that's where my next big writing project's taking me.
Reasons.
I can't talk about that one yet though, but I'm super excited about it.
Some people smugly are aware on the call.
Yes, actually, like half the people on this are smugly aware of it. Actually,
The only kind of awareness I have, y'all.
I'm going to guess alternate history.
no, I wish that'd be easy.
Nice.
So wait, what genre? If it's not alternate history?
I can't.
Secrets.
I can't say it.
Oh, okay, fine. Be that way.
It's romance.
It's romance. That's exactly what it is.
Obviously, it's a period romance.
Nothing says sexy like the Habsburg.
Habsburg romance.
Well played, Blaine. Also a good joke, Jeremy. There you go.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for taking up the slack. Appreciate
You need, there's a real emptiness there for romance set in the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
I don't know. Maybe you should look at the Ottoman Empire because that's pretty hot.
I don't know. There's more murders committed there, but less
Murder
incest.
can be sexy.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to go Game of Thrones or Ottoman. I don't know.
I mean, why not both?
So, who here are gamers? Who likes to play games?
Sometimes.
All right. What games do y'all play? What's your favorite?
Sorry. Go ahead, guys. Anybody else?
No, go ahead, Jason.
Oh, go ahead.
Right now, okay. So Helldivers on PlayStation. We've got a writing group that lives on it. It's Jacob Hollow, myself, Tom Pope, and Jamie Ibsen. It's pretty regular. 5 times a week, we're on Helldivers, dropping into and shooting, blowing everything up. It's a lot of fun, and because you can kill each other without really serious consequences, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, Jamie, did I shoot you in the knee with an RPG?
Just sitting there talking trash.
Sentences writers say.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then I also play a lot of computer simulation games like Civ 5, 6. I don't like 7, so I didn't. But yeah, I'm a hard gamer, like hardcore gamer.
Any board games or anything like that?
No, that's for the nerds. I said I'm a hardcore gamer.
Wow. So
That hurt. I physically felt that.
Just like, wow, shots fired.
No, I do tabletop strategy game as well. I used to play a certain mech game that I'm not really a fan of anymore. I play some Warhammer, but I actually like painting more than I like playing. So,
Wait, what are you painting?
Warhammer 40K,
Miniatures.
Fantasy. I paint them Nids, Bretonian Knights, Space Marines, because everybody paints Space Marines. Chaos. I just like to paint.
I'm just picturing Jeremy, picturing Jason like Renaissance painting.
Yeah, I thought you were sitting there doing one of these.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, my Rubenesque picture of Jeremy is still in process, so I'll get that to you by the end of the year.
Thank you. My commission is very important.
Just take it in a little bit in the waist. That's all I ask.
It wouldn't be Rubenesque if he took it in the waist,
I
Jeremy.
know, it's against the definition.
Well, he goes both ways.
No, he
Well, this devolved somewhere, but it's okay.
We're doing so great.
Well,
We're doing so great, guys.
I did call it Old Home Week. So
Yeah, you kind of started this.
yeah, Blaine, what are you playing since you rose your hand?
I just painted up a bunch of miniatures for Victory in the Pacific, or Victory at Sea. It's a miniatures game, World War II. Looking forward to diving into that. My online gaming, I keep really pretty quiet, but I do World of Warships lately, just because that's my reward when I finish a chapter. Is I dump into World of Warships, blow up some ships, then I go back to writing.
My reward when I finish a chapter is I can go to bed.
Wait, we get to sleep?
Wait, what is the sleep you're talking
Not
about?
us, Melissa. Not us.
No.
Marisa, you sounded like you wanted to say something.
Oh, I did recently. Last year, I started playing for the very first time Dungeons and Dragons. And I am not allowed to play video games anymore because it's too addictive and then I can't do anything else. But I got my own clicky clacky math rocks recently. And they're very glittery and I love them very much. And then I'm going to be let loose at Dragon Con. So I don't know how many I'll come home with. That's all.
Yeah, she's going unsupervised.
I'll be there, also unsupervised.
I have not had the chance to play Dungeons and Dragons since I was in college.
I've switched over to Castles and Crusades.
Ooh, that sounds
It's
fun.
more old school and it's simpler to play. There's not a lot of overhead in terms of rules. I tried to jump into Pathfinder. It was way too complicated.
Yeah, it's too much for me.
A lot of overburden with that, and the new D&D is not my style.
I don't think we're playing new. Our dungeon master has been dungeon mastering for about 30 years. So I think he is playing his own version, which I enjoy.
I love you all, but nerds.
Yeah.
When I played it in college, they still had that red paperback book in the little cardboard box.
Nice.
Yeah. So, Jason, that what you just said is my role when I go watch them play nerd games.
Yeah, he refuses to play. He just makes fun of us.
Yeah, I just go there. I sit there, have a little drinky poo, and make fun of them and talk trash while they're playing. So that's how I have fun.
Yep. Sounds
All right,
right.
Melissa, are you into any games?
So I used to be a really big video gamer, like Fallout, all the things, but I don't have the time or the patience anymore. But my son is so addicted to Halo that not only do I know things about Halo, I did not ever want to know. I will sometimes find myself humming the theme song because
nice.
He will walk around just humming the Halo music all the time.
Just gets in there.
Yeah.
Rick, so you said you don't play much anymore?
I haven't played video games since 2004. And I haven't played role-playing games since I was in college, which was well before 2004.
Time math. Yeah.
All right, last get to know you question. What are you watching right now? That is appropriate to say on this show.
Rude.
I'm watching my computer screen.
Yeah.
Does Instagram Reels count?
Shit.
If it's what you got, it's what you got.
Yeah. At least once a week, I manage to get at least one episode of Ted Lasso. We are very slowly making our way
It
through
is a
it.
great series.
I
It
love
is a
it.
good series.
I love it so much. It has taken several months to get to season 3, which tells you how often I would love to binge it. I just don't have the time, unfortunately.
All right. Blaine, what are you watching right now?
I'm finishing up on Apple TV For All Mankind. I'm on the last season that they did. It's pretty good. Some of the stuff was a little weird, but I moved past it. You know, as a historian, you tend to look at stuff and go, no, don't go there. They have thrown some zingers in there that are hilarious, though.
Nice.
That just, I mean, I there was one while I was working out at the gym this morning. I was cracking up when they said it. Al Gore found an asteroid and claimed credit for it. And I was just, President Al Gore. And I was like, that's perfect. So that's been good. And we've been watching Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV, which is about a rich guy who loses his job and all his money and starts robbing from his neighbors in a very wealthy community. And it's got John Hamm in it, and it's really good.
Nice.
Except none of the characters are likable at all, which seems to be.
Can't watch that show like that.
Yeah, I'm tired of that. Yeah. But that's fun. It sounds fun.
Yeah, that's why we had to get out of Walking Dead. It was just bad people doing bad things all the time.
Yeah.
That's depressing.
Yeah.
All right. Melissa, what you watching if you get to watch things?
Just like Instagram, I told you.
I really don't. Like, I actually found myself just watching like random clips of Nathan Fillion's cop show, which the name escapes me right now.
Rookie.
Yes, The Rookie, which I tried watching when it first came out, and then kids, so I had no time. But I'm enjoying that. I'm watching Teen Wolf because Marisa said it was amazing, and I'm like, okay, yes, I'm hooked, and also working my way through Supernatural slowly. Yet
Stop at the end of season 5.
It's in this show, therefore I will watch every episode, no matter how.
I was gonna say she's not stopping. He just gets hotter. So,
but the writing doesn't.
Correct.
Right.
I'm not watching it for the plot, sir.
The plot.
Watching it for the sizzle.
My goodness.
Rick, what you watching?
Currently, I mean, sometimes actually, honestly, I do watch The Rookie during the season. I have like YouTube TV, and whatever I watch, it automatically saves any new episodes, which is both good and bad in some ways. But other than that, mostly I watch stuff on YouTube. I've been watching this guy called Mr. Ballin. His name's John B. Allen. He's a former Navy SEAL, and he does a lot of things like mystery stories, you know, like Missing 411, stuff like stories that sound fake but they're true, that kind of thing, you know.
Oh, cool.
So I've been watching that. And that's mostly what I do. I have YouTube on in the background when I'm writing. I don't really watch any series. I don't. I keep meaning to get around to watching Reacher season 3, but I just still haven't.
It's pretty good.
Don't rush. Don't rush.
It's all right.
I like the first season.
Yeah. There were episodes I just watched for the plot.
Yeah. Jason, what you watching?
You know, honestly, I watch very little TV. I might get to catch a movie once in a while. I think I tried watching the Slammin' Salmon the other day. It's by the Broken Lizard crew. And I got about halfway in and I'm like, you know what? They were a lot funnier when I was in college.
Oh, I was about to ask.
Is that the guys who did Super Troopers?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I love that movie.
Okay.
Super Troopers
Super
was a
Troopers
holiday
holds up
treat.
though.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, and I thought you were talking about something else. I didn't know that was appropriate.
No, you said appropriate for the channel. So
You know how fast you're growing, meow?
Go back. Yeah. You see me eating mice.
I tried watching that. I think that's the last movie I've watched. So yeah, I don't.
Well, I watch movies. Actually, I live in a town that has I think it's the only drive-in movie theater in Wyoming.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
So we just watched Thunderbolts at the drive-through last weekend.
How was it?
I liked it.
Nice.
It didn't end. It didn't end with the blue sky beam, so that's got to be a positive.
Hey, sometimes.
Or a horde of faceless alien robots. So
A win.
All right. Well, now that we've thoroughly gotten to know you guys,
Thoroughly.
let's talk about why we're all here.
Pick on
And-
Marisa night.
No thanks. No,
Wait, what'd you say?
no,
I said pick on Marisa night.
no, thank you.
Oh yeah, of course.
No,
That's every
isn't that
absolutely
every night for Jeremy?
Probably.
It is. It is. And I'm good at it too. All right, so dancing with destruction, and so I'm gonna get the gratuitous flattery out of the way at the beginning here. I read it. I loved it. It was. I'm sure y'all had a blast writing this because I had a good time reading it, and I'm showing the cover real big right now because it's very important about to how this anthology came about. So, Jason, since you're the editor, can you just kind of describe the cover and the call to action for the anthology?
Okay, so the cover is it's an alien chasing a group of soldiers who may or may not be in the 1950s Korean jungle, actually not Korea, but like 1950s era, running for their lives, and this alien's about to kill them, as you can see from the cover. It was done by Kurt Miller. It was done for another book actually, but it didn't fit the theme that the authors wanted, so it was set by the wayside. And Tony Weisskopf said, "Let's make it an anthology." And another editor had it, and I don't know, some things didn't work out, and then it got orphaned, and then I picked it up, and I got actually I think Rick and Joel Presley were the only two people who stayed around from the original editor with their stories. And then I started asking everybody around. I approached Marisa, and I was like, "Hey, do you think I can convince David Weber to write a story with you?" And she's like, "What do you mean you?" I was like, "I'm sorry, can you ask him? He's right there." I met Blaine at MarsCon last year, and I asked if you were interested in participating. Melissa, I've known, and I asked her and Nick to write a story, and then they worked with Casey Azell to write a combined threaded two-parter, which was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And Rick, he had his story already ready to go pretty much. I was like, "Hey, Rick, can you give me a story?" He was like, "Here you go." I was like, "Wow."
Amazing.
So great.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, I had fun reading, and so. But what was the charge? What was the what did you tell people that they had to write?
Basically,
about?
I told them, look at the cover and write a story based on the cover. It could be loosely based, it could be tightly based. I didn't care. Give me a story based on the cover, and every single one of them delivered.
I even like the intro to the anthology. I forget who wrote that.
Shane Green, Colonel Shane.
Yes.
Yes.
So, like I said, I had fun writing, and I'll ask you guys to kind of talk about your stories and how you came up with it, and anything you want to please expound to your heart's content. And then for those who aren't here, Jason, if you can recall what their stories were about, we can talk about those as well.
Hey, they didn't come, so forget them.
Yeah. Read the book.
And read the book. Yeah. All right. So, Marisa, let's go ahead and start with you since you're the first story in the anthology, and tell us how you came up with the story. What did you see in the cover, and how did it inspire your story?
Yeah, so this was actually Jason's brilliant idea was, hey, you're going to do this like no big deal project with David Weber in the frickin' Honorverse. So maybe you want to do like a small collaboration first to like practice. Really smart, turns out.
Just because it's for my anthology, it's not this is a happy coincidence.
Well, it's more, yes, it's for the super fun anthology, but it's not the Honorverse. So we'll do a little practice run. And it was so much fun. So I got to outline with David Weber. And that was basically like, so the secret, friends, just between you, me, and the internet, is Marisa Wolf's outlines are first chunk of story, super strong, makes total sense. Everything's detailed. Second chunk of story, pretty solid. We've got full sentences. Third part of story, vibes. That is not how David Weber outlines. Friends, you might be surprised. David Weber is very detail oriented. He knows exactly what's going to happen. Different parts, like sometimes things are surprising, but not because he didn't thoroughly think about them. So I sent him some well thought out, some vibes, and he was like, "Oh, there's a difference between part 3 and part 1 and 2." And I was like, "In fact, there is." And then with his freaking grandmaster of sci-fi, author magic, he made it all make sense, like better than I would have come up with if I had just gone and written vibes. So it was really fun. It's our very first collaboration ever. It was super, super fun to do. And I am going to tell you absolutely nothing about the story because it will be a spoiler. So check it out.
Okay. All right. Blaine, you're up. You were the second story, so
I had a great idea for a story. I think Jason was hoping I was going to do straight up military sci-fi, and I totally did not go that direction at all. I've had this idea bouncing around for a long time about what happened to the gods of old when everyone stopped worshiping them. And I came up with this idea that they hung around in a bar and interfered with mankind occasionally. And I've always wanted to do that as a whole book. And then when I saw this, I was like, okay, this is going to be a fun way to bring that story out and at least kind of kick it off as something that's out there. And it's just, the original title, which I never sent to Jason, was The God Squad. And I kind of threw that one away because there was no way he was going to approve that.
I don't know, man.
But it was just a fun approach to bringing gods from different mythos and bringing them into different ways of interacting with each other. And it's just a very different story that still ties into the cover, which was really the key. The cover got me going about what time frame I would be setting this in. So.
No, and I have to agree with you. It was very fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoy those kinds of stories where you kind of humanize the gods, and some of them are little scumbags, and so, some of them are righteous and all that. And so if you, I hope you do write a full novel or a full series would be nice if you could.
We're just putting in requests now.
Yeah, just putting in requests.
Hey, Jeremy, can I make a clarification real quick, though?
Yeah.
Tony Weisskopf wanted it to be military science fiction. However, in her instructions to me, she did not mention this. So I did not make any of the authors write military science fiction. I did not demand it. I just wanted to make that disclaimer because Tony forgot that in her instructions to me.
Oh. But it says it on the cover.
There's there's a touch of mil sci-fi in there.
Yeah. It was a fun story. Whether it's mil sci-fi or not, it's worth being in there because I want to read that series if you could. Again, second.
If it ever goes anywhere, it'll be fun. It was just fun to kick it off and get that idea out of my head.
Sure, yeah. I bet.
All right. So next in line, Rick.
So I saw the cover and took it literally to make something based on that cover. And so the first thing that came to my mind was, is that an alien? Is that a monster? Is it an animal? And I had this idea of basing it on Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Which
wow, the people who are nodding know what you're talking about. The others,
so I had to
20 years or younger, are going, "What the hell is he talking about?"
So I wanted the main character to be a fan of the TV show, but I looked at the guys, the soldiers in that cover, and I'm like, they're carrying M1 Garens, they're wearing World War II gear. How can I do that? So Wild Kingdom started around 1964, I think. And I looked it up, and there were several National Guard units that still used World War II era uniforms and M1 Garans, and one of them was in California. So I decided to just make the main character somebody who's in the California National Guard, trying to not get drafted into Vietnam, and has to deal with an alien creature that lands outside Modesto.
As one does in Modesto.
And honestly, Rick, his story, I didn't edit it much. I just sent back notes of, is this accurate? And Rick, literally 30 seconds later, yes, I checked. I'm like, cool.
Trust me.
I don't like having to research stuff. That's why I write military science fiction. Like a couple of years in the future, I don't want to have to research where streets are and where.
Oh, sure.
But this I had to, and I'm like, yes, I researched it all.
I have sources.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's literally like, stay in your lane, editor, please.
Hey, editor boy, why don't you?
My favorite editorial comment from Jason was when he said, "Hey, can you take all the double spaces out of your story?" Like, no.
Well then.
Oh, I like this. This is a sassy crew. I like this.
I need to see it.
Yeah. So, and please, if y'all want to dump on Jason, you know, you know,
we're not doing phrasing anymore.
Oh, you're nasty. I can't take you anywhere.
Wow.
So, Jason, let's talk about your story, and then we'll get into the others that aren't here.
Well, and Melissa's.
Hi, I'm here.
Sorry. I usually go in this.
Damn.
I'll come back to you. I'm sorry.
Damn.
You've also been.
I don't have popcorn, so I have a fat dragon instead.
I'm just gonna hug my griffin and be sad.
Sorry. All right. Sorry, Jason.
Basically, I saw that and I was like, I'd already read everybody else's story at this point. So I was like, okay, I need to write something different because I don't want to copy anybody else's story. And then I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to write as good a story as what these guys have done. So let's limit my expectations of what I can do and just try to make it exciting. And so I imagined this guy who wanted to get a job, but it's like it's the most difficult job in the world. You're exploring star systems. You're going and trying to find habitable planets for colonists. Well, how do you weed out the ones who are good and bad? You put it on TV, you have a game show, and it's literally man versus alien.
Oh.
And that's pretty much what my story was. It's one guy who's trying to get out of living in the slums, and he's being chased by a star demon throughout a dome while it's being televised live with a live audience.
Love it.
And gambling going on, too, because you got to make that money.
What are we doing reality shows for if no gamble? Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that story, and it reminded me of either the Running Man and Hunger Games and things like that, except with monsters trying to kill you. And I really enjoyed that story. Actually, I enjoyed all the stories, but that one kind of stood out to me.
Good save.
Nice.
And Melissa, sorry.
So I must interject first because smug first reader vibes all day long over here. I got to read Jason's story first, and it was freaking amazing. So expectations, please.
Yeah.
It was really good. Like,
keep it up. I'll put you in the next anthology too.
That's how it happens.
So Jason is awesome in many different ways because he asked me and my other co-author, Nick Steverson, to write a story for him. And this was our first invitation to a Bane anthology. So there was a lot of shrieking. You can imagine it. I've shrieked a couple times on this podcast already. I will try and not do that. Okay, yeah.
Don't lie. Don't lie. No,
Don't lie. Yeah.
So we came up with some ideas and everything. We were talking. And then Casey Azell, she was like, hey, guys. I have no current ideas. Can I write with you? And we're like, yes. So then our little sci-fi alien story kind of snowballed from there. But one thing the three of us were huge fans of was Aliens, like the movie Aliens, because that thing holds up.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's let's do a bug hunt. Where we have, our homage to sci-fi space marines and a colony world that maybe has gone dark and needs some assistance, and things are not entirely what they appear to be. And that is all I'm going to say about it, because one, I haven't read the story in almost 2 years, and two, spoilers.
Yeah.
Now, I know both you and Nick, and I think I can tell who wrote what. In some of the paragraphs and everything are very much Nick.
Hashtag shut up, Moretti.
I think that's the sentence he read out loud. He's like, this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up, Moretti.
Yeah.
Yeah. But your story and yours and Nick's story and Casey's story are from two different perspectives, correct?
Three. So we had Callahan, we had the officer POV, which I wrote. We had Moretti, who was the smart mouth enlisted POV that I can't imagine how Nick wrote that so well. It's a mystery, y'all. He really reached there.
Mm-hmm.
He did a good job.
And then Casey in Bug Out, the sequel to Bug Hunt, she wrote essentially a dropship pilot's perspective. And I think it worked really well.
It did. It was good.
So these alien hunters were all armed with M1 Garens.
Look, all new things are old again. All old things are new again. Time is a flat circle,
It's so strange.
Yeah.
The real funny thing, Rick, is that I was on a rifle drill team in college, and we used M1s. So when I saw that cover, I'm like, I know that rifle.
Oh, wow. So, go ahead, Marissa.
I was just going to say, my story is also in the future, and David and I had that same conversation. We're like, no, it just looks like those. It's fine. Just looks.
Yeah,
Just bring it back to
I
fashion.
did some leeway. I did say that try to make it if you can, but at least get the alien and the people running for their lives would be
This
ideal.
actual scene, the vibes of that scene are 100% represented in our story.
100%.
The actual action happens. Just, who knows what futuristic rifles look like? Maybe it's super fancy laser, but it looks like an M1.
We all remember Firefly.
Yeah.
See?
It's
That's
hipster rifles.
Yes.
There you go.
That's what we need.
So, having read all these stories, it's amazing how different every story was than the other. Of course, the Bug Out was a continuation of sorts, but from a completely different perspective, and just so much imagination came out of this one picture, and it was really, really fun to read. And we're going to talk about a few more of them. All right, Jason, if you can remember, Joel Presby's story.
Joel's was it's literally a dive into the psychoses of one man who's losing his mind, and he's not sure what's real or not anymore. And so he's participating in a lot of internet forums, and he meets someone who's claiming to be a dimensional time traveler, which is actually, if you read the description of the back, it's where I got the idea for the Elder Watch, and then I didn't do anything with it. That was my fault. And she cheated with the cover. She had the picture of a cover on his desk, and I was like, that's cheating, but she technically followed the rules. So
yeah.
But it was a really good story, really dark story, and I really liked the ending. I was very, very happy with the ending.
It hit.
Yes.
And of course, there was a somewhat romantic story in the anthology. Surprisingly, it did not come from Melissa.
Nope.
Surprisingly, it came from Blaine. Oh,
Yay.
With Jacob Hollow and Edie Sky.
Yes.
That was a fun story.
So I had to when I told Tony I was inviting Jacob Hollow and Edie Sky, the first thing she said was, "Edie Sky, are you sure?" And I'm like, yes, she can write PG-13. She can do it. She's really good. She is a fantastic author.
Yes.
But she's more known for her spicier stuff. So, but they wrote a very interesting crush love interest set in Jacob's Soul Blazers universe, which was a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed that story. I made them take out a couple things because I was like, that's too meta, guys. You're doing the like look to the camera moment that you see Deadpool do. And I can do that occasionally, but you do it a little but this story was so fun, and I love the ending. Again, I love the ending. I loved everybody's story in this anthology, not gonna lie. I didn't have one where I said, I hate this story. I never had one of those. I loved everybody's. They all had such unique takes on what I asked. But Jacob was like I would say the strangest one.
Nice. Yeah.
But wait, which one was the strangest?
Jacob and Edie's.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. There is no filler in this anthology. It's good from start to end. So I would appreciate it if y'all would all write novels based off of these stories. Let's see.
Well, I just did actually. So.
Oh yeah. Really good.
Well done.
I got to read it.
That's awesome.
And then the last story of the book. There's a lot of teaming up in this anthology. Do you do that often, or it just kind of depends on the authors? Or?
I think it just depends on the authors. Like I knew Nick and Melissa have written together before. They write very well together. Like I said, I wanted to see how Marisa wrote with David. Plus, I want a little bit of bragging rights. I want to be able to say I have the first David and Marisa story.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
First of many.
Let's see who else? Jacob and Edie Skye. They write together. I mean, they're a pair. You're not getting one without the other.
Yeah.
And then for the last story, which you were kind of getting to, Butcher by Jason Anspach and Nick Cole. It's set in their Wargate universe where the world has pretty much ended, the modern world, and it's slowly being eaten by fantasy elements. So you've got like modern day soldiers trying to hold off a horde of mythical fairies and stuff like that in this universe. And they literally wrote the prequel story for that universe. And it is nuts. I also give them I tease them a little bit because I asked for a 10,000 word count. They gave me a 24,000 word novella.
I was about to say it was a scooch long.
Yeah. It's like roughly 10 each. It's fine.
It averaged out fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Melissa and I have never done that ever.
No, never.
Mm-mm.
But theirs was a really dark, gritty. That I would say that story is actually the truest to military science fiction we had, except for Rick's.
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, just the number of completely different ideas that came out of that one picture was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You know, nobody really doubled up. Even with, like I said, with the continuation, you know, one story continuing another story, it being coming from that different perspective that had a slightly different feel, and they were all very, very entertaining. And some were, you know, a little bit darker than others. Some were more fun than others. And like I said earlier, I would really like it if y'all could all, you know, write series on this. That would be lovely. Who is out of this group? Who is planning to continue with these stories, or can you say?
Jason is.
I already am.
Hey, I've got. Will Mr. Washington convince you, Jason? I also have a Mr. Lincoln who might.
Getting big over here.
Right, let's go.
It's a continuation story of existing short stories I've written, but I just did write the first novel in the Quintus Fox universe, is what I call it. Mm-hmm. And that's actually coming out this month. Why did I not talk about it?
Oh,
I tried.
Go ahead and talk about that, Jason.
Can I talk first, Jason?
Yeah, go ahead, Melissa.
Yeah, I'm like this. Oh my God, guys, Firefly. If you love Firefly, you are going to freaking love his bounty hunter novel, because I read the whole thing and I said, why no more words? And then I was like, now I need to go watch Firefly for the millionth time. Oh no, it is.
So it's Firefly if Jane was the captain.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh, I'd watch that. I'd watch that in a
You
heartbeat.
want to run this ship? Yeah. Well, you can't.
I've got a dragon just off screen wearing a little Jane hat. So
Yeah.
in.
It's a
You know
very
what the chain of
show.
command is? It's that chain I beat you with if you don't obey my commands.
Very quotable show.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
Shiny.
Yeah, I would love to read a book by both Blaine and Rick. Both, I'd love to read a story continuing theirs, especially if like more of those, like, I can't spoil it, but those creatures arrive because it was a really good. I'm not gonna say bait and switch, but a really good like character reveal. I really enjoyed. I can't think of the right phrasing of how to describe while
It was a twist.
Yeah, the twist. See, the twist.
Words.
English. I don't speak.
Words are hard.
What is it?
Mouth
Words?
Mouth
Yeah.
words are different than finger words.
The twist was really good. I would like to read more of those, Rick. Just it went in your copious amounts of spare time.
Yeah.
Maybe that can be novel 100.
I don't have a Mr. Lincoln or a.
I'm only
I know Blaine was
I'm only
ready.
working on 2 book series at the same time, but it's okay. I'll squeeze it in.
Yeah, you can
do 2.
Yeah, I was like,
Those
what?
are rookie numbers, Rick. You got to boost those numbers.
So if you can have that for us next week, that'd be great.
Hey, don't challenge him. He will do that.
I know, right?
Oh
Well, that's what Jeremy wants. So
Yeah. So and Blaine, I really liked your story because it had all the different guys. I really have an affinity for books about mythical gods and things like that. And yours, it kind of reminded me of Neil Gaiman was American Gods,
Oh.
but at the same time, nothing like that.
nice.
Except for all the gods,
I'd like Thor as a bartender. That was
Yeah.
just a lot of fun.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I think it was the last story with Jason and Nick, where well, no, I can't say too much, but basically,
No spoilers.
people's personalities were amplified.
You can. It's already. That's an established
Yeah, Forgotten
thing in their
Ruin.
universe.
Forgotten
Yeah.
Ruin is the universe. It's really good.
Because I know too much and I don't want to share. I don't want to share too much.
Can't tell people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed that too. It was all these stories were very, very strong. And,
Of course, Nick would not have to worry in that universe because there's no way to amplify his personality more than it already is.
Nice.
I hope he watches this.
That's awesome.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
go ahead, Marisa.
No, I was gonna say, I'd love to tell you that we'll do more with this, but the list of projects that David Weber has,
Yeah.
and the list of projects I have just with David Weber, so I don't.
You're
I do not
catching up
think-
very quickly.
So I don't think we'll be coming back to this one, but I really loved the characters. So I know I didn't say anything about the story because of spoilers, but all the characters in there I was very fond of. So
And that's the great thing about anthologies. It's almost like a farm league for future novels, where
yeah.
or the seeds of ideas potentially for new novels and stuff. And it's how a lot of good authors get started and everything. So although y'all are well established, so
Yeah, Rick's just getting started. Next 82, he's really gonna figure it out.
yeah. When he grows up, he'll be
Yeah,
a great
when he hits that 100 or something.
When I grow this beard in.
There you go. Man.
But no, this like I said, it's a great anthology, and my hopes are high for novels that will come out of it. Everything is based off of this wonderful cover. But before I let you go, because this will probably be a 2-part video, let's remind people where they can find you online and in person. Just noting that this will probably come out after Liberty Cup. And we're starting again. Well, let's go backwards. Jason, where can people find you?
Oh, so I listed the conventions. It's I'll be all over the United States in the next 2 months. You can find me at jasoncordova.com, not net. I do not swing both ways. And I'm also on a Twitter X at Warp Cordova. If you like memes, that's pretty much what you're going to get on my Twitter.
Nice.
All right, Rick.
I do have a author blog at rickpartlow.com, but I rarely write anything there. So best bet is to look for me on amazon.com, or if you want to go on Facebook, I have the Science Fiction Worlds of Rick Partlow, where I do a lot of updates and post like news articles I find interesting about technology and things like that. So that is, and I will be at Writers Cantina in Salt Lake City in July.
Awesome. And Melissa.
You can find me at melissaolthoff.com or .net. You can find me at LibertyCon and DragonCon. And you can also find me spending way too much time on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and now TikTok, because apparently this is what we need to do. So you will find me chaotic in person, feral on the internet, and just having a blast making all these ridiculous reels.
Speaking of feral.
There's so much fun.
Speaking of feral, what else do you do?
Me and Marisa and Casey Azell are also the Feral Ladies, and we have a podcast that we're feral and chaotic on that too. So
can I mention?
Yes.
Can I mention I also have a podcast? By the way,
oh yeah.
Yes.
Me with Josh Hayes, Jeff Haskell, and James Aaron. We have the Mill SF podcast.
Yeah.
And it's
Releases
good.
once a week.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, awesome. Check that out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Melissa, did you get everything out?
I think so.
Okay.
And we need to have you on the podcast, Blaine, at some point. So.
Oh, okay. Sure. I listen to it. I enjoy it. Jeff's a hell of a writer.
Mm-hmm.
And so are you, but I mean,
I don't know.
you're
I took that part for granted.
I already know.
I'm good.
All right, Blaine, where can people find you?
I do have a website, blainepardo.com. I rarely go there. I have a blog, Notes from the Bunker. It's on WordPress. Go there. Obviously, the best place to get me is on Facebook or Twitter, or really just go to amazon.com and buy a book, please.
Yes.
Buy a book, any book, not necessarily mine, just any book.
Buy a book, and more importantly, leave a freaking review.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Please.
definitely.
Like that. Yeah.
Yep. Like, rate, review anywhere that you find these books. It really helps your author friends out.
Yeah. If you like it, tell the world. If you don't, that's okay. You can keep that to yourself. Just
Keep
close your heart.
keep your mouth shut.
Keep it to your heart.
All right, Marisa, where can people find you?
Yeah, marisawolf.net, marisawolf.com. Also, forgot, I just finished a book this weekend with Chris Kennedy. So if you're like, oh, I wish I had a little more Mill SF Marisa in my life, it is my final Four Horsemen novel. So we just finished that. That'll come out this year. The main Four Horsemen storyline is coming to a close, and this book kicks that off. So you can check that out. And you can go to my website, whicheverone.com.net. It's June. Pick your poison. And see me at DragonCon if you want to know more about a big score, a little dragon, and a whole lot of trouble.
Did you talk about your YouTube channel?
Oh, yes, I have one. Sometimes I do things on it. Currently, the things I do most are Feral Ladies, which is going to be its own channel because it's its own thing that's becoming a thing. So come see me be chaotic on the internet. Come see me be chaotic in cons. I don't know. Come hang out.
So Marisa, a big score, a little dragon, and what?
A whole lot of trouble.
And
So this is the comedy version of Game of Thrones.
It makes me think of Big Trouble in Little China a little bit, the tagline. But no, it was meant to be, you guys. So A Plague of Magic, it's coming from Bane, so I can talk about it a little bit. It was meant to be a super fun heist novel. And then it It didn't do that. It's
And
not
then
that.
the dragons arrived.
Yeah. And then the
The
dragons came.
voices started
Um,
talking to her, and the story changed.
No, friends.
And then she
I'm-
made me cry.
Yeah, I'm a professional author. I write books and stuff. I don't have 86, but we're little by little, we're getting there. And I forgot that when you have characters that show stakes and the stakes are really serious, I forgot that could change the actual tone of a whole book. So it's not fun heist, but there is a whole lot of trouble. So Plague of Magic, anywhere books are sold.
Remember, any story can be improved by adding, and then the dragons arrived.
And then the dragons arrived. And he's very little, you guys, but he's very angry.
He's so angry.
He's very
It's like Baby Groot.
Yes,
No.
Baby Groot, but if his whole personality was pressing the blow up button.
Yeah.
Then yes.
Button, blow up, uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming. And Jason, do we have another anthology in the works?
We're doing the same thing, different image by the same cover artist by Kurt Miller. And that one was actually titled by Melissa's daughter.
Yes.
And
cool.
that is going to be Chaos and Consequences. And right now, I think we're looking at potentially summer next year or fall.
Nice.
I've got one story so far turned in.
My story's turned in.
Yep.
For Chaos and Consequences?
Uh-huh.
Cricket.
Check your email.
I'm in the middle of editing the Monster Hunter Files anthology right now. I don't know.
That's fair.
Jason,
Yeah.
my daughter would also like to remind you that you owe her ice cream.
Yes, I know.
She will not let that go. I love it.
I understand how bribery works.
It's payment. It's payment.
Capitalism at its
Right here.
finest.
Right here, Jason.
That's it, Blaine.
Payment for services rendered. Well, you guys, this was a blast. The anthology was a blast to read. Keep up the good work. And again, I reiterate my request for series of novels. It would be a delight to read them all. So I truly appreciate it. And with that, I bid you till next time. And everyone have a good morning, evening, day, whenever you watch this.
Life. Enjoy your
And
life.
we will catch you next time. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
And now, as promised, one jump ahead. John Moore is a nanotech-enhanced soldier of fortune. Lobo is an AI, a living weapons and intelligence platform of enormous destructive potential. Two very dangerous wolves in a galaxy of deadly corporate and paramilitary predators. But Moore has grown weary of the killing, and just once he'd like to finish a job without leaving a trail of blood behind him. Not going to happen. Not on a pristine planet called Mackin, where two gigantic corporations vie for control of the local jump gate and access to the riches of an undeveloped world. Dealing with a kidnapping and extortion scheme is only the beginning for Moore and Lobo as they work to stay one jump ahead.
That wasn't the deal. He nodded again. Of course, he said. I wouldn't be asking you, understand, if it weren't standard company policy. We naturally monitored your activities as best we could, but we were unable to follow you once you entered the forest. It seems the main satellite with coverage of the area was sending encrypted messages elsewhere. He waited to see if I wanted to add anything, but I had no intention of giving up Lobo's set colleague. So after a few seconds, he continued. So, we don't quite understand what happened. Nor do any of the gardeners we've been able to interview. He said the last word casually, as if Kelco's staff had spent a few minutes chatting amiably with the gardeners, but the conversations were far more likely to have been interrogations. I don't care at all about your policies, I said. Slake hired me to do a job, I did the job, and now his daughter is home safely. That's all there is to it. He was playing Mr. Agreeable, nodding and smiling. I understand. We would naturally compensate you appropriately for any time you might spend reviewing your assignment with us. I'm not looking for any new work right now. He kept smiling. Perhaps I should also point out that If, as we must assume, your methods involve tactics or weapons unfamiliar to us, we might be able to set up a rather substantial consulting arrangement for you, so you could train our security teams on your methods. At Kelco, we're always looking for ways to improve our performance." His voice rang with corporate pride as he ended the last bit. Another of the true corporate believers. He wasn't going to quit without some kind of answer. I leaned back and spread my arms, doing my best to look cooperative. "As nice as that sounds," I lied, "I'm afraid I have to tell you that I have nothing real to offer. All I did was take one of the usual approaches for handling such a situation. I spread around enough of my own money to get the names of some of the gardeners, then bribed a few into helping me and scaring off the others. When they did, I grabbed the girl and dashed to Slake's house. Nothing worth reporting, really, so you could save your money." I leaned forward and lowered my voice, bringing him into my confidence. He also leaned closer. "I can't give you their names, of course, because I have to protect them from the other group members." I don't believe he bought my story, but either he'd had enough or he simply realized he wouldn't get more from me. "I've left my contact information," he said as he stood. "I hope you'll call or visit if you recall anything else that might be of interest or use to us." I checked my wallet. His information was in active quarantine, under the usual scans by the wallet and awaiting my permission to add it to the main info store. I can't imagine that I will. The entire assignment was all really quite boring. But if I do, I'll get back to you. I also stood. My jump number is coming up soon, and I'm in a new ship, so I have to make some preparations. "Enjoy your trip, Mr. Moore. I'm sure we'll talk again." "I don't think so," I said as I walked past him. "I don't expect to be back this way anytime soon." It was definitely time to leave. If Kelco really wanted to know what I'd done, it wouldn't stop with Amendos, and the next person might not approach me so politely. I checked over my shoulder all the way back to Lobo and didn't relax until I was safely inside him, and he'd sealed the hatch.
This has been the Baen Free Radio Hour. Thanks for joining us at the heart of science fiction. Join us next week as Sean Hazlitt interviews John Ringo and Lydia Scherer on their latest book, Behind the Veil, the third book in the Transdimensional Hunter series. And later, we continue with part 21 of One Jump Ahead by Mark Van Name. Score by Ruth Judkowitz.